Hi, I'm Cher, the Shadow Walker. Today I'm going to be doing live readings. For anybody who doesn't know, I've been doing this for since I can remember. And so I thought I'd have some fun and just give one question per person. And you just ask me a question and I will answer it for you. I can do large room readings, I do individual readings, group readings, party readings, over the phone readings. So I thought I would take some readings this morning and see who was in the chat. So if anybody would like to send me a message. Terry? Okay. And you want to know if your health is going to improve. It's going to be rocky for the next 2 years. You have issues in your chest, your heart, and you need to quit smoking. And do we have another question from the emails somebody can give me? Lisa, you're going to get a job. You switched jobs several times and you're going to take a temporary job and then you're going to have to move, but you have a great future ahead of you and a good career in business. But you're going to be moving to BC. Anyone else? Have I ever helped somebody find an item? Yes, I have. In fact, there was a time that one of my friends phoned me. She had lost a ring that she had handed to her by her great grandmother. And it's a really beautiful Alexandrite stone, which is my birthstone and her birthstone as well. And she'd misplaced it. And she phoned me and I said, I see it in something. It's hanging and it's wired like a mesh. And she couldn't figure out what that was. So she phoned me back probably 2-3 hours later. And apparently she had this baskety thing that hung in the kitchen that she had her potatoes and her onions and everything on different layers hanging. And she'd somehow put a ring in there. So she found it. So it was in a mesh basket. And yeah, she's several provinces away from me, but that's common for that. And Sam, should you make the move to another country? Yes, but not the country that you have planned. Job for you is in England. Any other questions? And Carol, will you get married this year? Well, that's really not a question for me. That's more of a question for you. Do you want to get married this year? And are you in a relationship that will work? I think there's some areas that you need to work on first. And I feel that you You need to be a little bit happier with yourself, more sure of yourself before you go through with a marriage. Because I'm getting the feeling that you've done this before and it didn't work. So there's nothing wrong with taking your time. And Sarah, November. November for pregnancy. Go ahead. Luke, is it safe to take a trip right now? Well, if you're going to Europe, absolutely. If you're going to the United States, no, not at all. Where was this place you wanted to go? Well, I wouldn't go there right now. Okay. Hmm. Evelyn, I sense it's your legs you're having problems with. It's your circulation. That's what's causing the problem. Just a minute, we'll get another question or we'll get one in the chat. Oh, Brenda, your husband's health. I sense he has a heart condition and you've been dealing with health issues for a few years, and I feel that it's just going to deteriorate more from where it is. Age. Excuse me, just a minute. I'm going to cough. And Devin, will you find your biological father? Yes, he's in Quebec. It's as simple as it is. And A. Yes, of course you should tell the truth. It's not going to have a great outcome for you in the short term, but in the long term, it'll be much better for you. And that is Cora. It's a dream you've been having. It's the same dream over and over. If you want to go talk to somebody about that, then I think you should. Your house will sell within the next 2 months, if that answers your question. That's a strong feeling for me. Let's do some world things while we're doing this just to have fun. Let's go. Europe's economy is going to mesh with the Canadian economy. And so Canada and Europe and Eurasia are going to form a strong bond. There's going to be a shift in the powers of the world. There will be threats from two countries, two of the larger countries. However, I do feel that we're shifting towards shutting out the United States until, because I believe they're in civil war, small civil war right now. I know that sounds funny, but because it's a big country, but I do believe that that momentum is going to take hold. And until they change their communist regime, and that's in my opinion that they are communist, I do believe that they are. They're incredibly prejudiced towards all people, and it's like, when will it stop? If they're taking the immigrants out of the country, they will, what's next? It's just going to escalate and escalate. So that's why the people are going to start. I feel the boots on the ground is what I feel. I feel that the people of the United States are going to stand up for themselves and say enough is enough. Their healthcare is gone. Their farming industry is going down. Their manufacturing industry is going down. Jobs are at just an all-time low, and prices are high. But prices are high right across the board, and that's greed. That has to change. People will make that change in the United States. That's going to take 18 months, and then it's going to take another 2 years to even recoup just the stabilization in your own country, never mind looking at the world markets and being able to be a key player again. And I feel laughter in the background. That's Russia. That's Putin laughing. I believe he had a lot to do with this. And funny, because I sense him here gasping for air. So there's something wrong there. Oh, I got a question for Peter. From Peter, will I get back with my wife soon? Not without counseling, and try to see if she will go to counseling with you. But that's totally up to her. You have to change the 3 things you did wrong, and that will make a huge difference. So it is positive, but you have to take a hard look at yourself first. You can't kid about that. Barb, will I get the job I recently applied for? No. No, and you're going to feel like you're going down for about 2 months, and then boom, you're going to get the job of your dreams. Let's do a question for There's a major bridge that's going to collapse over the next 2 weeks. There's some structural issues that have been hidden. And I get that far away from me, so sorry. I'm just trying to do my sense of geography here in my head. What's over here to us? Is that Europe that would be over here from where I'm sitting? No. Let me think. That's Calgary. What's that way? What's that way? Over in Asia. It's a bridge in Asia then. Sorry, sense of direction sitting here and looking at the screen. Um, there's going to be major outbreaks of mumps. There's going to be an increase of polio. That's only in the United States. I see, I see closures, so I see borders shutting, as people are not going to be flying in that direction. There's a huge swing in things. I think a lot of people can already sense that's coming. There's going to be a shift, and I see rail lines directly straight across Canada. So I'm looking at travel, just being able to travel by rail. It'll be a lot safer than it is to travel by planes in Canada. Um, Cheaper. I see the pipelines in Canada going ahead. Um, I think there's a lot of environmental things. I'm always worried about that when I see that, but we'll put things in place. Canada's going to change. There's been a lot of stagnation in jobs where people are. There's a lot of big companies that seem to be influencing the markets, and there's going to be smaller independents that are going to start to influence things in a different fashion. Um, Housing prices will go up, not down. There's going to be a shift in the way homes are sold. People are going to use artificial intelligence as opposed to real estate agents to sell their homes, which maximizes your potential profits in the end. Um, Still having lawyers involved, but removing that middleman is going to make it different for the people. So yeah, your house price may look like it's 10% or 20% lower, but you're saving. Excuse me. I have a question here from Jonathan, and he was asking me if he should start dating online. Um, I don't think you'll have much success with it. I do believe that for you, getting involved in some sports and some volunteer work, and you won't need to look to date, you'll find somebody. And I have for Randy, your health will improve this year. You just have to cut out sugar. That's a hard one for people, but it is true. I have a tendency to stay away from sugar, so yes, I do try to push that on people. Um, For Damien, you're going to find out the truth about your biological father. And that's going to be a rocky road for you for a bit, but you're going to find that you had a lot of people on that side of your biological family's side that loved you, but your mother kept you hidden. Um, she kept you hidden for selfish reasons. She wanted your father and she couldn't have him, and he didn't want to stay with her, and he also didn't support you. So, yeah. So, a lot to deal with, but you can deal with it. When people have children at a young age, sometimes they make bad decisions. And for Ari, the truth about your extracurricular activities, let's put it that way, your extramarital affairs will come out, and you're going to go get some counseling for that. It's about all you can do, and pick up the pieces. Um, you can't keep hurting people just to get your way. And for Corey, your lies are going to catch up to you. And all those lies that you told your son are going to come to a head, and you're going to have to tell the truth. That's as simple as it is. Oh, Lynn, you got footsteps in the house in the middle of the night. Is it haunted? Is it bad? It's a rented place. No, it's your grandfather. He's concerned about you. You've got an hidden issue. You have diabetes. You have diabetes. That's what it is. And he's trying to, and he's worried. He's pacing. That was something he normally did. He does this too a lot. That might make you recognize him. And for Sham, I'm not going to be able to say the name right. Shama. That's a very controlling situation to be in, to say the very least. That's not the psychic me, that's just the me. Um, yes, you can. You can leave that, and you'll be very successful. I see a switch from nuclear arms to drones being more prevalent in the future, and a different way that borders will be guarded than there is now. I see, and I know the world isn't shifting back, like the water isn't. If you looked at the world flat and it looks like a puzzle that could be put back together, I find that Europe and Canada will be becoming very close. Um, some more protection coming from there, more purchases coming, big purchases coming from there. What do I see 5 years down the road? Hmm. 5 years down the road from now, businesses will be booming. The division between alliances will stay for the next 8 years in place. There's a lack now of trust, and it's going to take a long time to build that trust back up with the North American markets. And because people just don't trust them. So that's everything's going to change. There's going to be a huge shift in where things are produced and who will be what is considered a superpower. I believe that we won't have a superpower or three, or we're going to be, countries will be more superpowers in what they have to offer. The more diversification you have, the more eggs you have in your basket, the more you're able to develop products independently without having to bring stuff in. Those are the countries that are going to prosper more. So the countries that have the precious minerals, the countries that have the natural resources, all the natural resources that are needed, um, and the fresh water. We can't overlook that. And there's going to be a shift in how the world heats itself, because when it's cold and it's winter in countries like I live in Canada, it is. Um, okay, I'll answer that one in a minute. Um, you shouldn't have to pay to heat your home. It should be a right, you know, and right now it's not, and that's wrong. And it's going to change because energy isn't going to be needed to heat your home is going to come in a different fashion. And that will be over the next 4 years, you're going to see a shift in that stuff. And that's a shift for the better. Of course, there's going to be countries that are still going to need oil. And there's going to be countries that are going to, but there will be less countries that use coal. That will be gone. Pollution will change. Droughts will be gone. There's going to be more rainy seasons coming forward. Um, I do feel that that's going to be a shift in the earth with the rain. So there's going to be a lot more flooding. So a lot more major storms that are going to be happening this year. There's going to be some huge storms. And I have a question from John, and he lost his wedding ring and he wanted to know where to look to find it. Look in the laundry, the dirty laundry. It's in your pocket. You either lost weight or you keep playing with your ring, but it's in your pocket. If that helps. The and I think that's Levi that has a question of, well, it's a little strange of a question, but yeah, I think we'll pass on answering that one. Is there any other questions over there to my helper? And Nick, you are going to three marriages. Three marriages. So that'll give you, if you know where you are, that's where you're going. And to Erica, yeah, I think it's primarily health related for you, the issues that you're having. And one of the biggest problems that you're having is weight. And once that weight starts to come off, you won't do it with intervention of a doctor, though. You're going to fast and you're going to have the help of a naturopath. And you will lose it all. That'll make a big difference on you. Gwen, in your health. Um, I see stiffness in you in a lot of spots where you're having trouble with mobility issues. You have to have 100% change in your diet. It is basically taking one item out of your diet at a time and seeing and taking them out for at least a 2 week period. You're going to notice a difference. Some people say take it out for a month. You don't have to. Take it out for a 2 week period. And then you want to take out the next item and then wait 2 items before you add that first item back in. You will notice a difference in stiffness. Elsa, I think that you're asking me about a presence in your house, not a present, right? You're not looking for something that somebody bought you. Presence, okay. Um, the presence that you're feeling is not in the home, it's on the land. So you need to clear the land. And so I can send you back the info as to how to clear, and that will make it easier for you to clear your property. And once you clear your property, you're going to notice a huge difference in that, what you're feeling in the house. A lot of people will ask me that when I go and I do a clearing of a home. And when I'm clearing a home, they will ask me, um, generally it's because they sense something in the house, or they have objects moving, or they'll hear something. Sometimes you see ghosts. I've seen ghosts myself. It's not that big of a deal. Um, with this particular property, it's the land, and the land needs to be cleared for her. Once it's cleared, um, that makes a difference. So when I go into a house, the first thing I do is I look at the land and I clear the land first. It's history first. It's what was on that land first, because energy is what we're made of, and energy is held in the rocks, in the ground. And so when that energy is there, it, um, and you put a house on it and it's a negative energy, all you're doing is basically turning a cup upside down on a piece of something, and that energy just vibrates through that area. So basically, your house is the upside down cup, and the negative spirits can come right up through your floors, your walls. And so a lot of times you'll have somebody come in and they'll clear it, or, they'll say it's a demonic possession, and they'll have somebody um, bring a priest through and bless the house, or they'll do an exorcism, and they haven't cleared the land and gotten rid of the primary issue that's there. So nothing that they do is going to work. The only thing it's going to do is take your money. And so clearing the land, if it's a serious issue where things are moving, where somebody's getting sick, I always like to have a faith healer or shaman go that is properly, well, let's just say knowledgeable in the original people in that area, and to clear that for you, and then to clear your home. I don't go with the conventional religious methods because, in my opinion, it is not the way to go. It has nothing to do with religion and everything to do with the earth, the rocks, the energies that are there. And I have another question. Sorry. From Sue. Should I get a divorce? If you're even asking me that question, you already have your answer. You're just afraid to make the decision. It's if you've worked on it, if it's the same issues again and again, that's just common sense. That's not psychic. Um, I think you're looking more along the lines of, will you ever be happy? What are you going to do? And where's the stability come from? It's going to be a little rocky for probably a year, but then it's almost like you step into the light and everything is much better for you. So that is, that's what I see for you. There will be a shift in how we look at different things in the next year. We're going to have an increased sightings of Bigfoot, in case anybody's interested in that. We're going to have an increased sighting in Dogman. There's going to be a shift in the entertainment sector. People are going to be more entertained by going out and doing things, and a lot more live theater, a lot more small bands in towns that are going to be playing. So it's like more homegrown, local, as opposed to people going to big stadiums. Um, it's more of a community, guarding communities. So people showing their talents at home. There will be less people traveling for these big, glamorous concerts and more people wanting smaller concerts. And actually, there'll be more concerts online that you can watch. So that's a whole shift in the way things are done. And that's because of the way the world is right now. I've heard a lot of lines. Some of them, people have said there's going to be a new world order. Um, there will be a difference in the way that we look at the world. There will be a difference in who is leading the world. And that shift is never going to go back to what it was. It's going to be totally different and much better for everyone. More stability, more international banks, like just in Canada, so that people that need to get mortgages can get better mortgages. Um, the way that mortgages are run in Canada is going to have to change in order to be competitive. I believe that credit cards in the next 10 years will be obsolete. Glasses, which I think will be wonderful, in the next 8 years will be obsolete. There are far more technologies out there. Those that fear AI will learn to embrace it. AI will never take over the world. Um, it's something that I've heard from so many people that are scared to see things go forward, or so many people that want to put the fear in other people. But seriously, for anybody who works with AI, and I do, it's it's garbage in and garbage out. So if you don't have the right jumble to put in. If you don't put your wording in properly to AI, you will not get out what you want out of AI. So AI requires our human brains to give it proper direction in the proper order. Because if you put, just look at your order as 1, 2, 3, and say you put 1, 3, 2, your image or your action from your artificial intelligence will be totally different. And um, so once you learn how to put things in to AI, it will come out to benefit you. But if you don't understand how to input your information, AI is only going to give you what it can from what you've put in. And so AI can't take over the world, because we can just unplug it, and we don't need that type of system or that type of fear put into people. There's a system of fear that's put into people over technologies. Technology will change, it will change again. um, Cell phones going to become a lot smaller. It'll be a lot easier for people to get information faster. I think that the old school things like education is going to be done differently. Schools are not sustainable the way that they are, because there are too many children that have autism in the schools that are not getting the proper care that they need. There's not enough teachers for that. There's not enough staff for that. That's going to change. That will be done differently and more beneficial for the children. I don't, the education system in the past, I'm going to say 15 years, has gone down in my country, in Canada. Education is not the same. Reading levels are not where they should be. Math levels are not where they should be. They've produced a system in the schools of high stress for the children. Test, 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 test. Yet they're only giving them work from here and not from here. So they're not teaching the child to think outside of the box, because the teacher is only printing off from the box. So that will change. That's a good thing. Um, there's going to be a lot more online education, smaller community education systems that are put in place that are different, a lot more cocooning, like smaller size classrooms, better for the kids. So if anybody has another question right now, that would be great. And that one is from Ruth. I think that if you were to look, it's in your records. That's what you're looking for. It's in your records. It's in the papers that you're panicking about. It's on page 9. That'll help you. I don't want to put out the personal information that was just shown to me that you asked, because that wouldn't be appropriate. But yeah, it's on page 9. It's paragraph 4. That will help you. And you can just email me back on that other email that you asked. And that is Judy. And you are going to go into rehab. You need it. Okay. And Brian, your past will catch up with you. Donna, the lies will catch up with you. Jen, 2 years. Unpleasant, 2 years. And we have important dates this year. 25th of June, 27th of November, August 19th, 2027 explodes. And that's a good thing. That means everything goes in a boom. And Colton. Investments will go up in that field. And that is Evan. Okay. Evan, it's your mother that passed on that's with you. You're going to feel her pressing down on your shoulders. That's because she finds that you're not sticking to something enough. You have a tendency to not stick to things, and you need to. So you have to focus more. I do feel you're a little ADHD, so that might help you to learn some breathing techniques and calming techniques to help yourself. There are therapists that can help with that, and that's a really good thing to get help with. For Adrian, two. Two children. That's what you'll have. It's in, what's her name? What's her name again? Evelyn, it's in your feet. Change your shoes. It's imbalancing your hips. Food prices are going to go up, and then they're going to come down within the next 3 months. Things are going to stabilize in the food market. And there's going to be a shift in the food market with people buying healthier products. People aren't going to be they're going to be looking at more raw foods as opposed to packaged foods. People aren't trusting packaged foods anymore. So that's a good thing. There's going to be more of an adoption in Canada of the way that Europe has with its processed foods, where there's a lot of additives and things that are put in foods here in North America that in Europe they're not allowed to have. And that's all going to change, and it's going to be gone. We're going to change that because our health system in Canada We always look at the healthcare system being overtaxed, overrun. The people, there's just not enough people. But when you look at it in a common sense factor, and realistically, what I see going on is if we're not healthy, there's no way we can sustain ourselves with doctors. They can't continuously keep fixing everybody that's sick because they're eating junk. So that's why there's going to be a shift in the way people eat to raw, natural foods. People are going to grow more of their own foods at home. So there's going to be a shift in the way of groceries. There's going to be a shift in the markets because there's been too much greed. There's too much corporate greed, and there's too much commercialization of products, things that are packaged, pharmaceuticals. There's a lot more medical properties in plants and natural than there is in manufactured and processed, and that's going to shift so that people are going to look more towards a healthy way to care for themselves, and that will take the stress off the doctors, and there will be less sick people. But right now, if we don't change what we have going on, the children that are growing up are going to be incredibly unhealthy, and their lifespan is going to be shorter than their parents because they're eating processed foods. So we have to shift the way we do things. Um, in Canada, I see more of a balance between the provinces. Every province is going to bring something to the table, and there's going to be a shift towards a more level, common sensed way of thinking, and less towards what I see was the shift towards the way the United States was thinking in the communism. We're not going to have that here. That's going to go by the wayside. And we're going to be more of a country that is open to each province, is more open to each other. There's been some push between Ontario and Alberta, but that's going to go by the wayside. And the parties that are leading in the Western provinces, the ideology that is what I call the Trump ideology, that will be gone. That's a short lived era. That's kind of like we've all taken a peek back into what communism was and what it was like in wartime. And none of us want that. And so that's why I see civil war in the States, because the people don't want to live in communism. And we're all just human beings, whether you're living in Europe, Canada, China, we're all just people. We breathe, we eat, we sleep, we have all the same bodily functions. And there's going to be more of a realization towards that and a less towards this um, superiority that's going on here in the United States. That's all going to be gone. It'll be better for everybody. So Mike wants to retire, and he's looking at another country to live in better but still be safe. Europe, South America, or the Philippines. Where would be right for you? Europe. Definitely Europe. I'm thinking more towards France, the Mediterranean. More stability there. There will be more stability in countries like Croatia coming within the next 2-3 years, where people won't be as leery. I feel that there's going to be a huge shift in Russia is going to change, and Putin is going to be out of power. I sense with him something here. So I find him with breathing issues. What that comes from, I do not know. I just sense that that's where the problem is with him. I'm not sure of his age. So, and that whole, what people call regime, I call communism, is going to be gone. Communism is going to be what people don't want anymore. People, if you want to call it democracy, I just call it being normal. People being people. Guns are going down. And are we going to have problems? Yes, but they're not going to come from here. Okay. There is okay. It's Crystal, and she wants to know, is she going to get what her father had? Your father had dementia, and it's highly likely, I shouldn't say it that way. Let me think how I can put this to you. There are four of yous in the family. You will not get dementia. You will die of a stroke, and it won't be now. You asked me to tell you that, and I did. So that's just flat out for you. That's what you wanted. I'm just going to take a peek at my phone here and see if anybody else has a question there. There is a yes, and that was Courtney. It's Courtney. Okay, there's four. Two here and two in Europe. Does that help? Okay. And for Sarah? Sarah? Yes, it's Sarah. No, no. I find that it's the spine that's causing that issue for you. And that's Jerry. And you want to know, you're kind of busy right now for getting a puppy. It might be wiser for you to get a dog that's more settled, an older dog. Yeah, an older dog would be better for you, definitely. And that's Erica or Elisa? It's Elisa. Sorry. Elisa. Okay, Elisa. And you want to know, she'll come back within the next week, but unfortunately, she's going to be pregnant. Yeah. So, yeah, you're looking at a litter of kittens if you don't get her fixed. Okay. Um, if you can see my big guy on screen here, but that's his nose. It's my Leonberg. And he's my baby. I used to have cats, but now I just have three dogs. I would love a cat, but I'm getting older and I'm trying not to. I'm figuring he'll be my last. So, yeah. And Steve. The initial R comes. Her name's Roxanne, if that helps you. Okay. He was asking me about, yeah, it's somebody that he was looking to date. It's Roxanne. Okay. And we've got some Samala. I can't say it. I'm sorry. I just can't say the name. It is, it's Punjabi. That's why. It's harder for me to say your name. You're from, so you're Asian. I cannot pronounce that name for the life of me. I'm sorry. Um, and your question is, it's in your chest. It's your lungs. It is. I find the whole environment around you is causing issues in your lungs. So just give me a second. It's mold. Okay, so if you were to go and stand outside of your house, because this is how I see it. So stand outside your house and you're facing it. And we're going to look at the left hand corner at the back of the house. There's a crack in the wall. In that area where the drywall is, that's where the mold is. And it's not something that you're noticing right now because I think it's a utility room that's there, but it's there. And that mold, it's coming up to the next floor. So right above that is your bedroom. So that mold is affecting you. That's not something you do yourself. That's something you have somebody come in and look at and have it done professionally. Make sure you check the people out ahead of time to see if they are qualified, if they have reviews on those people. And sometimes if you just phone, you don't have to phone your own insurance company. You can if you want, but phone another one and a few of them and ask them who they recommend for that. And then look at the reviews on those people and then pick somebody because you really need somebody good to um, remove that mold. And you're going to have to move out. So yeah, there's going to be an upheaval there. You're going to be out of that house for a bit and you need it. And you need some help. Like go to the doctor and the doctor's going to help you with the mold because that's pretty serious. And that's, I'm going to take one more question, and that is from Connie. I know who you are. Hi, Connie. I haven't heard from you in ages. I see a leather, so it's in a wallet type thing, Connie. You put it away. It's like it's about this big. It's leather, and it folds, and it has a snap on it, and that's where you put your passport. And you have it tucked away in the pile that you have stacked up in the spare room beside the dresser on the right hand side, if that helps you. And let me know because that's where I see it. And I've got one more, and that's from Ida. And you want to know if you should hold on to your husband's ashes. And it has been 6 months for you? No. If he had a particular spot that he loved or that you know where he'd like his ashes spread, that would be best. I always find when you hold ashes in the house, you're trapping that soul to be bound, and it's better to let them go and release them. So that's a wonderful thing for that person. You really need to do that to make it better for yourself as well as for your children. I see one about 11 years old. So you've got an 11-year-old and one's a bit older. And you had one that passed on. I'm sorry. That's got to be hard. And your husband's name was Paul then, right? Okay. Well, Paul, he just went right on. He moved right on. So, yeah, that's not bad. And that's not meaning that he doesn't love his family. That just means that he passed through in an easy fashion, so that you know that even though he lingered in the end, and that cancer is a horrible disease for anyone, and I feel it was cancer with him. So, and I know because you're still in care mode. After somebody passes, like your husband passed, you've been looking after that person for a long time, and then and then you're slammed into a wall and they're gone, and there you are to pick up all the pieces. And there was all those things that you knew you had to get done, but you were too busy looking after him to do. You got to take the time to do those and take the time for yourself. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to get out there and enjoy yourself. Start laughing. Start going out with your friends. You deserve it. Things are going to get better. I know financially you're okay, but you need to look towards the future with your children, and emotionally you have to be okay, because money's one thing. I mean, money is going to give you, it gives you comfort, stability. It basically gives you everything that you need as far as the shelter and everything that you have. But your emotional level for the first year after somebody that you love that much passes is very difficult. um, so don't make any major decisions. And a grief counselor, independent, privately, because you seem to be a very private person, will be great for you and great for the kids. And where you go from there is just up. And he'll always be there looking out for you. And you'll know he's there from time to time, because he'll have a habit to come around, and it's on the dresser. He's going to move it. So that would be his wedding ring, because that's where you've placed it. Okay, and Iman, that one I got. Sometimes it's some with pronunciation of names, I'm a little difficult, so forgive me for that. Iman, yes, you have, it's a health issue you're worried about. It's gluten in your diet. They can do a test for that. And so when it's health, you want to make sure that you do the test for that, and you take all the gluten out. And honestly, I am I have to be gluten free. So when you're looking at gluten in things, it's not just bread. They put gluten in everything. It's awful. You have to read every label that you get, or like I do. I eat organic. I eat non-processed foods. I make everything myself. I have no choice. And I do not drink coffee. And surprisingly enough, and a lot of people, I didn't realize this. I mean, some people may know this, but I had a lot of people um, that I've met over the years that have been stiff, like your joints. And I know when I was in my 20s, I woke up one morning, I thought I broke my feet. I could barely walk. Now, in the past 2 weeks, I've taken coffee completely out of my diet. and I have no stiffness in any joints anymore. And that's excellent. And I take no medications and I'm 62. So, I've got to be doing something right. Food is medicine. So basically, you have to use your foods, and it's organic foods, and it's all natural whole products that you use and make things yourself. Um, and I didn't know the one thing that I didn't know, we'd gone out at Christmas time for coffee to a beautiful coffee shop. And unfortunately, we had been drinking organic coffee. And now, when we went to this coffee shop and it was just a wonderful cup of coffee. I thought, this is beautiful. They were grinding it right there. We thought, oh, this is perfect. And we brought some home. And then I started to get digestive issues because the coffee wasn't organic. And I had never got rid of the stiffness. So I took everything out. I took the coffee out. We did some research and found that coffee wasn't organic. And so we stopped using it. And my husband still drinks coffee. He drinks organic coffee. I myself do not. And I drink no coffee anymore, and I have no stiffness. So arthritis, there's no stiffness anywhere in my body. So perhaps with some people like myself, in my opinion, that's what was affecting me. So yeah, that's why I I had a question come to me last night and through email, and I answered it, and it was basically about arthritis. And I think it was Lisa. And the coffee, like, that's what affected me, and that's what just stuck out when she asked me that question about arthritis and stiffness. And I said to her, "Do you drink coffee?" And I had given her my phone number, and she texted me back and she said yes. And I said, try taking it out of your diet for 2 weeks and see what the difference is. So she was going to start that today. So I'm hoping that helps her. So I don't see any other questions right now coming in by email or by computer here. So if there's any questions that anyone has, you can email me, and I will do my best to get back to you within the next couple of days. I do have another email that people use to email me separately from this that know me. And so I'm answering quite a few of them from there, but I want to get to answering more off of YouTube as well. And this has been a great deal of fun for me because it just gives me a ton of energy. I'd like to thank everybody who was brave enough to ask a question. I'm going to try to do this 3 times a week. So if anybody has any questions, missing people, missing items, whatever, just throw it at me and we'll go with it. And I've had people lined up for 3 blocks, so I'm good at what I do, and I love doing it, and I love helping people. So if you have an honest question, not a ridiculous one, and not somebody trying to joke, those ones I don't even answer those. Just send it in and I will answer it. And to those of you who want to do the live chat, that would be great. Do the live chat. I always find a lot of hesitancy with people asking me questions publicly, but you can email me if you want. And it's Sher, the Shadow Walker, at gmail.com. And I'd like to thank everybody who asked me a question. And I'd like to wish everybody a wonderful day. And I just want to send a message to all those people that are hurting down in the States, that are fighting for a better life right now, that it's coming, and it's coming at your hands. And You should be very proud in yourself because you're part of history and you're stopping the communism. So stand up and stand proud because you're doing a wonderful job of pushing back against a dictator. And at this time in life, there's no place for arrogant men that are dictators. There's no place for pedophiles. There is no place for rapists. There is just no place. This is the place for decent, honest people, and the world is shifting towards that. People are getting tired of the nonsense. So, to all the people in the States, elbows up. You're doing a great job. And to Europe, thank you. And that's something that'll be coming out within the next 2 months. There is there's going to be a major shift in Europe, and it's a wonderful shift. So when I say thank you, you will all understand that then. In Canada, to all of yous who are worried, struggling, unable to see yourselves in a home, in a future, it's going to boom and you're going to have it. So just focus, work. I don't say work hard, work smarter, not harder. Nobody needs to work themselves to the bone for anyone. Always put yourself first and your family. Your family should be first before your work. And with that, I wish everybody a wonderful day and peace. Goodbye. And thank you. I'm Cher, the Shadow Walker, and thank you for watching.